This journey of demise is brought to you by Parasites. My deaf child, what is that wiggling in thine orifice?
How dreadfully weary your eyes look, my sweet dumbcomes. It is time for your dead time story.
The Piss Killer. Psst, said Karen's urethra. Karen just returned from work and rushed to her bathroom. She had been holding it in all day. Why do we do that? You know men don't do that, Karen thought to herself. Suddenly, loud thumping was going off through the other room. Mr. Jingles, keep it down. I'll feed you soon. Karen continued to relieve herself when unexpectedly the lights went out. Before she could even get off the toilet, waves of pain emanated through her. She was stabbed repetitively in the abdomen. Her screams were dampened as the killer was flushing the toilet. The next day, another unlucky bastard. That makes the fourth victim. How do you know it's the piss killer, Detective Ollins? Seriously? The broad died on the toilet with multiple stab wounds. What do they teach at the academy anymore? And to top it off, look at this. Near Karen's corpse, just above the toilet paper dispenser, in blood-etched carving, there was the number 43 imprinted. Isn't that the worst wallpaper decoration you've ever seen, Starkins? How are you joking about this, Detective? You'll learn to joke about it, Junior Detective. Gallows humor is how you keep your sanity. That same night, in a busy hospital, a pager goes off. Great. It's going to be one of those nights, right? It's probably a full moon tonight. Hi, Dr. Hughes. Room 312 is requesting orange juice. Can he have something to drink? No, he cannot. First of all, he's diabetic, and there could be few worse things to give him. And secondly, he's having surgery tomorrow. Did you not see my NPO order? Jennifer hung up the pager. Objects that unfortunately found their way into her hands put contortionist skills to shame. And her current pen was about to break. Why did I become a hospitalist? Become a doctor, my parents said. I work with idiots and people only here to collect a paycheck. I used to love it. Jennifer continued to contemplate. But everything becomes mundane in time. In a pitch-black room, words were spoken. A disgruntled conversation in nature by a solitary audience of one was playing out. Back to front, or front to back? Damn it, answer me. Of course you wouldn't. You never helped when you were alive. No. Looks like that makes 44. A few days later, Nathan was shouting in a room with a TV glaring. This would be a peculiar scene to an observer. If the viewer noticed he was a gamer and talking on a headset, perhaps that would make it clearer. Be right back, guys. A risky gamble that Nathan was fond of playing was called Can I Make It Back Before the Loading Screen Finishes? He rushed to the bathroom and lifted the toilet seat. Little did he know that porcelain rim would be his last sight. Well, that's a real flow stopper, Starkins, and I have prostate enlargement. Nathan's head was lodged in the toilet with his knees bent. He appeared like an ostrich that had the displeasure of burying its head into a septic tank. Detective Starkins tried his best to ignore Detective Allens' remarks, but the gruesome scene, compounded by his partner's affectionateless phrasing, made his face betray his intentions. Multiple stab wounds to his bilateral flanks, and the number 44 jaggedly written. Yes, and like the other 4, the drywall was stabbed to carve the numbers. But why is this the only victim where the numbers changed? On another busy night in the local hospital, Dr. Hughes was receiving patient sign-out from one of her colleagues. Can you believe it? She probably won't make it. That's terrible. And you said she was going to be tested for schistosomiasis? A parasitic worm infection like that in the United States? I mean, she had so many urinary tract infections and no comorbidities. We're pulling out all the stops. Good luck tonight. Dr. Hughes' comrade left, and for the first time she could remember, Jennifer was excited. She recalled vaguely feeling like this in med school, but those years were blurred by time's ever-myopic vision. She hastily read through the patient's chart and made her way to her room. The patient appeared to be disheveled and diaphoretic. Her hair was long, black, and a tangled mess. It was the stuff of tumbleweed. Her heart rate was beeping rapidly on the monitors, and she was shaking and appeared mumbling to herself. Hi, I'm Dr. Hughes. We are ordering several tests to identify the cause of your condition. We have you on some strong antibiotics. How are you feeling? I was never taught, not once. Could you imagine the pain? The sick woman continued. Back to front, or was it front to back? Can you please tell me? Please tell me, won't you? Do you know how many times this has happened? You'll have to speak up. I can barely hear you. What's wrong? These words seemed to build anger in the sick woman. She immediately threw an object at the wall and spat at Dr. Hughes. Staff rushed into the room after hearing the commotion. They deserve to die. Took everything for granted. Never suffering. They knew how. Give olanzapine intramuscularly, nurse. For her safety, let's restrain her too. Staff descended onto the woman, injecting her with medication and restraining her as ordered. The sickly woman screamed and writhed in the patient's bed whilst being detained. As the meds were kicking in, glaring at Dr. Hughes, she said, My parents never taught me. All 4 of them deserve to die. Jennifer had seen many critically ill and altered patients make bizarre statements. But as she was going through the woman's chart on review, she couldn't help but replay the woman's words over and over in her head. She recalled, after working a long shift, falling asleep to a news report about some killer having a 4th victim. After seeing the negative drug screen result on review, she had reached a conclusion. Though this was a gray area regarding her doctor-patient confidentiality, the patient did mention a potentially undiscovered crime, so she called the police. Jennifer skimmed through the patient's chart throughout the year and discovered a bizarre finding. The patient had 43 prior urinary tract infections noted before this current hospitalization. Jennifer's suspicion grew as she continued to reflect on the strange woman's words. Hours later, 2 men arrived at the hospital and spoke with Dr. Hughes directly. During their introductions, a nurse hurriedly interrupted. "She's gone, Dr. Hughes." "How did she get out of the restraints? How long has she—" Rapidly, Detective Ollins interjected. "Quickly, Doctor, which room was she in? Get your gun ready, Stockings." They rushed to the room to find it vacant. The bed sheets were wrinkled and tainted with a scent of sour urine. A scattered blood smear was present, likely from self-extricating her IV. "Detective Ollins, over here. More blood is trailing towards the stairwell." They followed a murky trace of 2 bodily fluids, one amber, the other crimson red, overlying the cold white hospital floor. If a painter's palette had only these colors, it would make for one hideous abomination. Or perhaps a beautiful garden of buttered daisies and amaryllis. It would depend on the skill of the painter, in truth. Down on the last stair landing, they saw a husk of the sick woman's body. She adorned the facial expression only those dead communicate with. Her skin was pale blue and cold. She had developed sepsis from a kidney infection, said Dr. Hughes. "You mean to tell us a killer that murdered people while they were urinating died from a worsening bladder infection?" said Detective Starkins, looking intently at his senior. Detective Ollins smirked and patted Starkins on the shoulder while half-laughingly saying, "Well, isn't that some piss-poor irony?"
Sweet nectar of the marrow, cursed to endure the mauling of the flesh-eaters. O foul wrigglers, creep onward, creep onward.
Incoming death poetry.
Suffering exists. Some can be mitigated. Why choose ignorance? Through history one can see, yet fools never learn.
The Descapades of Natos and Todd.
Deathdrick! I was having this great dream where Crematana and I were dairied. Todd, she's so dutiful. A Livy, you dastard!
We have to do something about these dworms. It's not a Livy's fault.
Dot guns.
What's that, Draw?
Let's get a dot gun. I saw it on a deathmercial. Guns always make things better, it said.
You know, that might actually work. Let's test your hypothesis. I'll get it, Dro.
Is it our dackage?
Why, hello there, Todd. Those dworms sure are nasty out, aren't they? I've got a big dackage for you and Natos. What did you order from Death Mazan?
We ordered a dot gun, Dob.
Dolly D. Could I maybe check out the girl? You know, I fought in Vietnam.
Sure thing, Dob.
Huh, that's strange. Normally, the bullets are around here. It hurts like a tether tucker. Tell my Dom. I dove her.
Well, I found the bullets, Dro.
We interrupt this program to bring you the following message.
The early bird gets the worm. Please. The tapeworms using the earthworms as an intermediate host wanted to be eaten. Now, they thrive in the bird's intestines. Die there. I'm the deather, your Dom, and Dad. Parasitic infections lead to approximately 1 million human deaths each year. The deadliest infectious disease that contributes to over 600,000 of these deaths is malaria. The Plasmodium species spread this deadly infection via the Anopheles mosquitoes. The rest of the death count is from a cluster of diseases given the name neglected tropical diseases, or NTDs. These varying diseases include parasitic infections ranging from the blood fluke worms causing Schistosomiasis to Leishmaniasis and Chagas disease. The World Health Organization has a current goal to prevent and eliminate these NTDs by 2030. However, these diseases were given the name of NTDs precisely because they have been overlooked, relatively speaking, via research, funding, prevention, and treatment. In the current political climate, the deather is feeling less than optimistic on this ambitious goal by human standards. May fortune smile upon thee, and for those who continue to depart, God is with you. Now let us return to your regularly scheduled program. Stay deadly out there, children.
The Descapades of Natos and Todd have returned.
That was beyond frustrating, Dro. The dworms didn't appear at all.
Oh, I know, Dro. But at least we're prepared for when they do this time. had enough! Time to hunt some dworms! Ah! Ah! Ah!
What was that? Natus? Dro, you okay?
Duck. Everything.
Will you not remember to the subscribe button and a notification bell as well?
Incoming dance of death.
Your dumb may need to go to the death room after that one. Now, for a dance of death. The Deather dedicates this dance for everyone who has succumbed to death by the whims of an opportunistic parasite.
Here are the current supporters who have come to the aid of the Death Mother. Duna, David, Dyla, and Amanda. Thank you kindly, my sweet angels of death. My powers grow with your deadly tribute. As the curtain calls for the statue,
Death give, and it shall be given unto you. Dummy promises that as my powers grow, these death episodes will improve exponentially.